Hi everyone, I'm Celine. Welcome to today's info session of Westcliff University. Today's session started from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. EST. The info session is divided to two parts. The first part will be the admission officer of Westcliff University, introducing the admission process of CPT application and programs and CPT policy. And the second part will be the live Q&A. So feel welcome to submit the question in English in the bottom of the Q&A section. And if you have any other question, feel free to scan the QR code in the corner. Before the session starts, let me introduce a little bit about Go Elite. About Go Elite is a professional education institute based in Los Angeles, California. We represent an official admission of more than 50 universities. We are dedicated to providing international students with high-quality consultation, helping them with their academic problems, and evaluating the best CPT school option for them. We are also AIRC certificate organization. And our vision and mission, so far, Go Elite has served over 47 states in US and collaborate with more than 50 universities. We promise to provide a high-quality consultation for free. For the feedback from the student, we always have the positive review from student. And if you are interested in, you can go on Google Maps to search our review. Let's welcome our speaker from admission officer from Westcliff University, John Mahan. Hi, John.
Hi, Celine. Hi, everyone.
Hi. You can share your screen right now.
Okay, great. All right, are you able to see my screen, Celine?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining this afternoon's session, everyone. I don't see your lovely faces, but I trust everyone is doing well. Thank you for considering Westcliff. I will tell you a little bit about the university and the admissions process, and I'll dive in a little bit about CPT, and we'll then go through the questions as Celine already mentioned. So Westcliff University is founded in California in 1993. We have the College of Business, Education, and we also established the College of Technology Engineering in 2020. We also have the College of Law as well. We have campuses on the East and the West Coast of the US. So if you're considering in Florida, we do have a Miami campus now open for BBA, MBA, and MA TESOL degrees. We are accredited regionally through WASC, and we also have global accreditation through ACBSP. We are right here in sunny Southern California, so there's a lot to do in our main Irvine campus. In the campus and outside the campus, we're about 2 hours from San Diego, about 4 hours from Las Vegas. We're near Hollywood and a bunch of national parks and beaches and mountains, whatever you like to do on the weekends. We also are in the business district in Miami. It is the cultural economic capital of Latin America, considerably, and it is the top tourist destination in Florida. Westcliff has enrolled over 4,000 students for 2021. We have students from all over the world, over 90 different countries represented. We also have intimate class sizes, about 10-to-1 student-faculty ratio. Our graduation rate is quite high. We also have a 94% satisfaction rate from our students. And the job placement rate after graduation has been pretty consistent, 80%. Since a lot of you I know are considering graduate level degree programs, I will kind of focus more on what Westcliff has to offer here, but we do have bachelor programs as well. But for our College of Business, our MBA program does include many different concentrations. The ones marked with S are STEM concentrations. So we have our MBA program. We also have our DBA program. Our College of Technology Engineering include MSIT, MSCS, and MS Engineering Management as well. Those are all STEM concentrations, or that means they're related to science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We have our College of Education, which has a Master of Arts in TESOL, and the College of Law with the Juris Doctor degree, which requires just a bachelor's to qualify. All right. We have many different support on campus. We have a lot of different things to offer through our Westcliff Entrepreneurship Center. We try to encourage all our business students to go over there and check out what we have. We have our Smart Capstone course, which offers 6 months of experiential learning experience as the culmination of your studies here at Westcliff. We also have Business Center for Women Entrepreneurs, and we have WAVE, which is a business club where you can connect with like-minded business leaders. We also have the Incubator program, which helps Southern California entrepreneurs. We also have quality mentors. We have our faculty with over 20 plus years of experience. We emphasize interactive and practical skills. We also have our own journal of applied research called WeJar. So getting down to what Westcliff is about and how to apply to Westcliff, there are a few things we look for. If you're going to be, since you're already in the US, a lot of times this is, the first step is to go to our electronic application on westcliff.edu/apply. So just going on here, this is our admissions page. You'll be scrolling down to the transfer F1 on campus if you're inside the US. If you are outside the US, then you would choose the first one. So if you go into our form stack application, a lot of these are pretty, pretty straightforward. And I do want to go into this in more detail in a little bit. But we also will ask for some documents, should all be included in the application. So that includes the NACIS or AICE evaluated transcripts. We also look for a minimum GPA 2.0 for undergraduate and 2.5 for postgraduate programs. English proficiency, we look for TOEFL, IELTS, and CPE is our own internal English exam that we can provide if you do not already have that. But coming from a US institution already, that should be enough. We just look for at least 30 credits completed at a US university or institution previously. That can also waive our English requirements. If you're also from an English-speaking country, or if you have medium of instruction letter from a previous program, which was taught from an international school, that can qualify for English. We also don't require any entrance exams, no testing like GMAT, GRE, or SAT. So I think it's quite convenient too. Normally our application fee too is $50, but if you do apply through Go Elite, I'll make sure to show you how to do that so you do not need to pay a fee, okay? So you might be interested in knowing our deadlines, right? Our next upcoming intakes will be the end of August, and we also have another intake the end of October. So that's going to be session 1 and session 2 of fall 2022. Then our spring session. So each session will be about every other month. We'll have a new session. Each one is 8 weeks long. So the bottom line, you have a lot of chances to apply to Westcliff throughout the year. We do ask that you try to apply earlier the better. So also you have time to do CPT registration too, and to apply for CPT. So that would be, I would say, at least 3 months in advance. Personal information section of the application. I think it's really important to put your name as Zachary and government issued ID. Please input your personal email. And here you would also input Go Elite's here on the information and the contact email for Go Elite as well. And that will help you to waive the application fee. After you submit the required documents like our transcripts, English proficiency requirement, and we look at the application in total. We'll also do an interview with you before, and it's just a casual, more of a, to get to know you and for you to get to know one of the advisors in the admissions team so that you can ask any questions you have to us. After we do the interview, we'll issue out the acceptance letter. And then at that point, we will ask for your I-20 request form, which we will use to look at issuing out your I-20. So we have it'll just be the same information as your passport. You should sign and then put your source of funding too. And just note that your source of funding documents should be including a bank statement. Please make sure to have that within 90 days. So that should be and not expire within 90 days of the application. So make sure that it is still current as far as bank statements. If you have sponsors, there will be a section that you can add in your sponsors too. Remember, we do accept one sponsor statement per sponsor per bank statement. Okay. And just a few words about the bank statement. Just make sure that it is in English, that is legible, and it states the currency of the funds, and also has the account holder's name. It should be similar to the I-20 request form as far as the information. And if it's a company statement that you want to attach, just make sure that there's a letter too from the company letting you, just confirming they're sponsoring you. And then if it is an account type that's unclear, ambiguous, if there is any maturity date there, we just need an email confirmation from you saying that you are able to withdraw the funds within the first academic year. So, all right, now, after we issue acceptance letter and you do start the enrollment process, once you start the enrollment process, that will be paying your first semester tuition, signing the enrollment agreement and the forms, including disclosure forms. Then that is when we can start the curricular practical training, the CPT application process. So the earlier the better to start registration and start enrollment so that you can begin CPT application. Now, what is curricular practical training? CPT, I'm sure some of you know already. It is during the program and is approved by the university or designated school official. And then it should be related to your degree. We do have a 1-credit internship course that goes concurrently with your CPT internship. So you'll be taking an online, very easy online guiding course that you'll take throughout the internship. And you'll be doing that you'll need to register every semester for CPT. Now, this can be done full-time, but more likely you'll want to do part-time CPT. Now, I'll tell you why. Because what this does is it keeps you from, it allows you to continue to do OPT after graduation if you are only doing part-time, and if you exceed 12 months, you can still do OPT after graduation. So for part-time, you can do it throughout your entire program. For full-time, it's very important to stay within 1 year duration without going over that 1 year, or else you will be not able to do OPT after graduation. Eligibility for CPT. For new students, we look at the time you have spent in the US studying. So if you've already spent at least 1 academic year, then you're eligible for CPT. So undergraduates, they'll need 1 academic year if they just came from outside the US. Graduates, they can start as soon as their program begins. For maintaining your CPT, we are looking at your GPA. We're looking that you're not skipping out on classes. Obviously, there is a time commitment there for both class and for work. So we do try to keep our classes on the evenings, so you have time to pursue daytime CPT. And so we do ask that you're keeping a minimum 3.0 for full-time or part-time, but a minimum at least 2.5 per part-time CPT. Internship is required for all graduate students. We really try to encourage it on top of the other spiritual learning opportunities. The benefits you can apply your knowledge, your relevant field of work, you can gain practical training and real life experience, and you can access networking, education, career advancement opportunities. So you'll be taking your internship course plus your employer internship. Applying to CPT involves a CPT application, which can be done online and through our website. So we will look for the cooperative internship agreement between you and the employer who wants to do the CPT with you. We will also look for the employee offer letter that will be given to you, and then proof of tuition payment too, in order to complete the process. So we have an excellent career services team that can meet with you, go over some of the opportunities around in California or in Miami, and help you to find the right path for you. And then once you find the right CPT, the employer is interested, we do have a large network of employers already that we work with. Some of our top employers include Google or Tesla, Bank of America. And so then we'll just ask for the cooperative internship agreement, the employee offer letter, and tuition payment. Now, of course, you may have more questions about CPT and OPT. I will do my best to answer the questions I can see the questions that have been posed in the Q&A, which is great, thank you. And I'll definitely get back to those. If you have more questions after this webinar, you can feel free to email these emails here for CPT_doctorate@westcliff.edu or CPT_masters@westcliff.edu for more questions. Or if you're interested in OPT questions, that's opt@westcliff.edu. Westcliff, one of our biggest attractions for international students is our affordable tuition for a private accredited California university, right? We have for master's programs of $13,000 for international students. Is not much different than our domestic tuition price, to be honest. So students, this is a 2-year duration, so it's $13,000 per year, or $15,000 per year for a 3-year duration for doctorate. There is accelerated program options, so you can finish your master's in 1 year if you're very diligent, all right? And then we also assess about a housing, a living expense, transportation, about $15,000 per year. So altogether, on your bank statements, we're looking at about around $30,000. All right. We can also change the frequency of tuition payment. There's payment by semester, which is the standard, or you can opt to do pay by monthly, which is 3 payments per semester with a 40% deposit on the first payment, and the balance would split over 3 months. The card will be on file, and you get, and that can be done from the very start. There's also international loans, right? And you'll just need to make sure you can apply through financial aid and have US cosigner. And then we also have a lot of scholarships and this is a scholarship calendar where you can see is we actually have deadlines every semester for scholarships. But if you're interested, I definitely recommend taking a look at our scholarship and grants page, where you'll find scholarships from $10,000 per year. That's the maximum usually for incoming students. We have our merit-based scholarships. So if you're looking at graduate level, we're looking at minimum 3.5 GPA. And then we even have regional-based scholarships based on the region you're coming from in the world as well. So I think this could be a good opportunity for international students. Humanitarian and warrior scholarships are there too. Okay, so the transfer F1 enrollment journey, start to finish, we're looking at, you'll first apply online and then submit a qualifying transcript with GPA minima. And then that'll also look at your English proficiency. After that, we'll schedule an admissions interview. You'll speak with a Westcliff admissions advisor, go through any questions you might still have about the program. And then we will be able to issue acceptance letter. And at that point, we will ask, if you haven't already submitted it, to submit your bank statements, the I-20 request form, and we will send out your digital I-20 to you. If there's more questions, you can also follow at our Transfer F1 checklist, which is linked here, but I can also share this with you later. After sending out and receiving the acceptance letter, and essentially you can start your CETUS transfer. So refer to your previous institution's transfer out process. I really recommend to contact your previous DSO right away, and then you can schedule it for a specific date. And probably we advise you to have at least transfer your records about 1 week prior to the start date. We really want to transfer it by the first day of school at the latest, okay? You'll enroll at Westcliff. At the same time, you can pay your tuition and fees and then sign enrollment forms. And that's when we can help you with applying for CPT, all right? And in this process, you'll also have your student service advisor who will connect with you, who can go over your class schedule and academic counseling. And 2 weeks prior to start date, we will have a new student orientation. All right. So how to avoid delays? Ultimately, it's going to be about just being clear in the communication process, uploading your documents all with the online application instead of piecemeal, right? So it's better to put it all together. If you have your bank statements I-20 request form, even at the initial application, then you can go ahead and upload that with your application. Make sure your advisor knows that you were referred by Go Elite. That will help any confusion that might be caused. And also make sure all docs are professionally translated and that you have the correct email and phone number to contact you directly, so we can set up that interview. And then complete registration as soon as possible so that you can still be able to finish the enrollment and apply for CPT on time. Now, of course, you'll be able to apply to CPT up until the 1 week after the start of the session. So you do still have time, even after the session starts, but it is getting close because it's more first come, first serve. So you do still have some flexibility. Why choose Westcliff? You already probably know, but to sum it all up, to remind you, we have affordable tuition, payment plans per semester, we have scholarships as well. We are an attractive location both on the East and the West Coast of the US. We have an intensive English program. We have work opportunities, both off-campus CPT and also post-graduation OPT. We can have STEM programs that allow you to stay for up to 3 years doing OPT. And then flexibility, we have 6 start dates per year. We have accelerated program options for bachelor's and master's students. And then on campus or live online, and we don't require any entrance exams for GMAT, GRE, or SAT. All right, well, thank you everyone for all this, for the time I spent. I know it's been quite a lot of information, and I'll try to go over some of the information that has been, some of the questions that have been asked as well. Celine, do you want me to go through the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. Hi. Thank you so much, John, for all this information. It's really useful. And could you please stop sharing the screen so I can take over? And we have like a couple of questions that students submitted in, and I would like it to, let's chat together. So here's the question. Can you see it? Okay.
All right. So for the transcript evaluation, it does not need to be through WES. It can also be through any member of NAFSA or any member of, any member of AICE as well. Can students work full-time while they are transferring F1 visa before the program starts? Yes, you can still work up until it is fully transferred. So that's why if you are working, still doing it, we do recommend just doing it up until like that very start date of your program. So you don't transfer too early, right? So once you transfer, then you are not able to work until you go, until you get approved for CPT. So just be sure not to transfer your CVIS too early. When is the application deadline for second summer semester starts? The application deadline is going to be, so this is the transfer checklist. Oh, sorry, you're not shared screen. So what I can see right now, we do have, usually it's about 6 weeks prior to the start date. So it is coming up soon. It's about 6 weeks. So we're looking at, if it's the end of June, probably around the middle of May as well. So that is the absolute deadline. I definitely recommend not to wait and go ahead and submit it as soon as you can. Can we still enroll in this year's summer 2 semester start at the end of June? Yes, you have until the middle of May to do that. Is the school load heavy at Westcliff? The school load, okay. How many hours do students spend usually on the assignment? Well, lucky for you, I'm actually a student myself, so I can tell you that from my experience, I think that it's fair, the school load. There is quite a lot of writing and reading involved, but definitely we have a lot of support for students here. We have our academic writing center to help you review papers. We have tutor session. We have librarians who can be on here, who can talk to you, set up individual sessions if you have questions about research. We do follow APA's guidelines, but we are mostly focused on, in-class participation, presentations, multifaceted approaches to learning here. So it won't just be about heavy theory. It's more focused on practically using your skills. And we also will have DQs. So that's peer forum discussions, questions that you'll post, and then at the end of the week, someone else will comment on your post. And so you probably do that every week to as you go through, and then you'll also have papers maybe every other week, or like 2 or 3 times during the semester, you'll have bigger papers to write. I would like to know how many students got selected H-1B lottery in recent years. So for this question, I wouldn't have the exact numbers for H-1B lottery. Also, I want to clarify, we don't refer to it as day 1 CPT. We just call it CPT at Westcliff. It is possible to do it starting on day 1, but we just don't say day 1 CPT. I do want to say that we will help the student out if we have a phenomenal international affairs team who you'll be able to contact and ask for any help. They will be on the phone with you, answering your questions if you have any specifically. But if it does veer into things related to your visa and maintaining status, and if the questions are more complex, we may refer you to an immigration lawyer for those questions. Can I apply Master CPT when I enroll in Westcliff after using 2 months of PhD CPT in other university? Yeah, so if you're having a different program, it is by program length, so you should be able to apply to CPT because this is a different program. So you should be able to enroll and apply to CPT after switching programs. How can I apply scholarship from Westcliff? So we do have a scholarship application. It is there on the scholarship and grants page. You can go onto the scholarship and grants page. It's under financial aid, and there is a Google form that you can use to apply to scholarships. Does the school accept foreign bank statements? Absolutely. I went over the foreign bank statements in the presentation, but as long as it has translation for the statements, it does. We do want that professionally translated. We do want to show the currency on those statements. We want to make sure that these are within 90 days of the application for I-20 request. And then some of the information is legible, right? It's clear, and the names are clear, the dates are clear, just so that we can verify the funding. And then we'll also, if you can convert it to US dollars, that will help our team evaluate it faster. What's the average time for students to get their admission decisions from the day they submit their applications? Well, I'll tell you, if it really depends on how complete your application is, but we do, especially if you already have your transcripts evaluated on an outside party, if that's the case, it's already evaluated, then it shouldn't take more than 1 to 2 weeks to receive a decision. But we do, the one thing also that might be a longer time is to be sure that you book your interview with an admissions advisor. That step, just make sure to book it as early as possible once you know who your admissions advisor is. I see that the upcoming summer session starts at May 2nd, 2022. Yeah, May 2nd is too close to apply if you are just considering that now, though we do have another summer session towards the end of June that you can still apply to. I believe the application deadline is May 16th. If I did use my OPT, can I still do full-time CPT? Yes. So OPT and CPT, doing OPT should not affect your ability to do CPT, right? In the next cycle. So if you already used up your OPT in another degree, and then you're going to do, and I'm thinking post-completion OPT, so correct me if I'm wrong, but normally you do it after your degree is finished. You do a year of OPT up to 3 years, then you can apply to another program and continue on to do CPT. That is fine. That's a different degree that you are taking. So yes. Can I work for several different companies at the same time using CPT? Now, there are no regulations that prevent you from working with multiple employers. It is possible. We just want to make sure that there is the total number of hours, if you want to stay part-time, are not over 20 hours. And then for full-time, we just keep in mind the limitations if you decide to do OPT later. I currently live in Riverside, California, Westcliff. How many times do I need to attend? I believe there's an on-campus class every semester. Well, if you're doing on-campus class in Riverside, that's still within the bounds of doing our regular format classes, unless you're in professional format classes. You're doing, we do expect you to come to campus. Right now, it's a little bit flexible just because of COVID. Right now, we will start to do more on-campus classes. We'll start to enforce on campus starting summer session. And you'll need to come to campus, normally it's once a week to come to campus, but it really depends on the format, which should fall under standard. So you still, unfortunately, we still would need to come to campus to maintain your status and studying here at Westcliff. I'm not sure what DDL is.
I think it's deadline.
Oh, okay. So closest deadline would be May 16th for the upcoming June 27th session. We also have a deadline the middle of July for the end of August. That would be for the Fall 1 deadline. And remember, this is for transfer F1 students 6 weeks before. If you're outside of the US, we look for at least 3 months prior to the start date. So the on-site frequency, if you're doing on campus, we try to enforce it that you're on campus at least as often as classes are in session. So if you do need to miss a class, then we can do a makeup class for you. You can watch the online recording of the class, but you'll need to be on campus at least once a week. And there is I don't think it's going to change in the future. 2 weeks orientation must be in person. Well, we've been doing orientation for the time being. It has been online, and you'll be completing it through GAP, which is the academic platform that you'll be able to use to submit your assignments and find your classes. So it's been modular. It's been, I think, quite great for new students. It's pretty convenient. I don't know if that will change in the future. We go back to how it was previously, where everyone will need to show up in person for the orientation. So, there will be a check-in, especially to make sure that we have F1. To maintain your status here. You will need to check in with our DSO officer. So that is one of the reasons we require in-person orientation, just to check in. For the time being, we've been holding it virtual. You mentioned that the internship is required for this program. What if I change jobs during the program and there's a period of time when I'm out of work? That's fine. Yeah, you're not required to do internship the entire time. At least one semester of CPT, we try to encourage you to do. We will not hold back your graduation if you did not do CPT, but we do try to encourage students all to try at least one semester. All right, 2 questions. Is the course schedule same no matter if students choose full-time CPT or part-time CPT? Yes, because we have classes during the evening time, there should be enough time for you to also attend classes while you do CPT. The frequency is still the same if you did CPT or not do CPT. So keep that in mind when you do pursue your CPT internship, that you'll still need to maintain full course load going to all the classes. What's the Miami address? That is a great question that I don't have on the top of my head, but I'm sure you'll be able to find that on our website. It is in the Brickell Business District. I don't just am blanking on the actual street address myself. It is a relatively new campus, but I'm sure that's something you can find readily available on our website. Can we choose the location of the campus? So again, it's going to depend on a few factors. One being that your program that you choose must be either BBA, MBA, or MA-TESOL in order to qualify for the Miami campus. The Miami campus is structured a little different with their courses. So the courses, we only require students to attend once per semester. So that is the professional format of the classes. You'll also be taking a concurrent virtual class session. The professional format, keep in mind, is slightly higher in tuition costs. So, and again, Miami is only 3 degrees, BBA, MBA, and MA-TESOL for now. The rest, all our degrees are offered at the Irvine campus too. Yes, you can choose the location on the campus if you are able to make the classes and make the tuition payments there. It's fine. Can I apply CPT for 2 full-time jobs? Right. So the maximum working hours, I believe it's tough to see if you can juggle that, but you do have two full-time jobs on top of being a full-time student. That might be very tough for you to do. I would talk to the international affairs team, one of the international services, or you can email CPT _masters@westcliff.edu to ask that particular question, and if it is possible. How long does it take from applying the scholarship to receiving a decision? So scholarships are decided every semester. So we'll be giving the decision before your start date, your intake date, about a month before the intake date. So you'll know whether or not you receive your scholarship a month before the intake. So that's why it's also important. The earlier you apply, the faster you'll get response for your scholarships. What will happen if my program is started, but I can't find an employer in a couple of weeks to apply for CPT? Yeah, if your program is started and you're still looking for an employer, there's always next session to apply for CPT. Our sessions go by quick. They're only 8 weeks long. So you'll have a chance to apply for the next, the next session for that. You mentioned that Westcliff will require more on-ground classes starting the summer. Does Westcliff still provide hybrid format classes? Yes, we still provide hybrid format classes. We do just need, there are some on-site requirements to maintain your visa status. And all our classes will still be recorded virtually. And so that might be something you can work out with your student services advisor. If you're living in somewhere as far as Northern California, however, I would recommend considering doing the professional format for MBA program. That means that you'll only need to attend class once per semester, once every 4 months. So look into if you apply to Westcliff, you can apply to the professional format and ask the advisor more information about the professional format. Hi, John. Could you talk more about the professional format? All right, like the on-site frequency. There you go. Once every 4 months is usually the frequency. Professional degree programs are available for, we have MBA, MSIT, MATESOL, MSCS, MSEM, any of those. We also have our DBA program that does consider professional degree. That will still be able to maintain your visa status. Do you know any students that successfully got H-1B when they're in CPT program? So that question, something that I don't have the answer to, unfortunately. I'll need to look through my, and I can probably get back to Go Elite advisor to look more into this. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to provide an answer and they can bring that answer to you. Is it possible to keep pursuing a DBA after the MBA at Westcliff? Yes, absolutely. We encourage, if you want to continue on to the DBA, that's great. We would love to have you here, especially if you're considering more programs. So you can still do OPT after MBA, and then you can go back to DBA and pursue CPT, and then OPT again after you graduate from DBA as well. Yeah, so that might be determined, again, the transferring of campus during each session for if your workplace changes, that might be determined. That I believe you'll need to speak to the international services team, international service team to kind of clarify what your current situation is. We do only offer certain programs at those campuses. So we'll just have to make sure that those the classes are going to be available that you can still take in California versus Florida. But if you're moving from Florida to California, that shouldn't be much of an issue, since the latter does have all the programs. So I would definitely just double check. It's possible we can help you with the transferring. Just double check with your student services. Always, the main point is to always keep us up to date, communicate with us about what your plans are beforehand, so that we can give you the best advice possible.
Thank you, John, so much for today's introducing and the Q&A. I believe we all have a better understanding of the process and the CPD policy in Westcliff University. And I received lots of requests about the recording of today's info session. If you would like to have the link of the recording or you have any more other question, please scan the QR code on the right corner and we will send you the link. Thank you again, John. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure. And I'm happy to speak to everyone. A lot of great questions here. Definitely encourage you to check us out and on social media as well. And if you want to go ahead and apply. I think there's no downside to it. You'll have a waived application fee, but really, I hope to see some of you on campus.
Thank you.